Today I would like to talk about spirographs and some of the patterns this tool could mimic in nature, and give an example of a lesson plan for a Year 3 maths class. Maths is found in numerous situations in nature. For example, patterns on a zebra, the markings in a tree trunk, patterns you might find on both the surface and interior of a seashell, including plant life and flowers, just to name a few. So undeniably, maths is used on an everyday basis. Children may use maths in its most simplest form, such as planting a garden, and for this purpose we'll use a veggie patch. With planting and maintaining this garden, we would need to use addition to find out how many plants we will require, and we would also need to use measurement to determine how big our garden bed needs to be and how far apart your plants need to be positioned from each other. All of these decisions, along with addition and measurement, the children also require spatial skills. In relation to using a spirograph with math, the children may discover a spider's web, some snails, butterflies, and hopefully some flowers in the garden. The patterns on all of these examples can be mimicked by using a spirograph pattern. By using the wheel provided in a spirograph kit and one of the circles to run on the inside of the wheel, and using a coloured pen in the holes provided, you can create many different patterns which could mimic nature. The children could use the numbers they came up with in measuring and adding when developing their veggie patch by using the spirograph and see what patterns they can develop. Here is another example of a lesson plan I would like to use for a Year 3 maths lesson using a spirograph. To introduce the spirograph and its mechanics to the students, I would use a worksheet. For example, this place value worksheet, teaching the children their hundreds, tens and units. Using the answers to the worksheets to determine where to place our pen in the spirograph circle, which will determine the outcome of the patterns. I have made two different patterns using two different size circles with the same sequence of numbers for an example of possible outcomes. To extend on this project, I would later introduce the garden scenario for the students to begin developing a veggie patch, using equations in measurement and addition required to develop this garden, further creating patterns in nature with a spirograph. So here you'll see the tools from a spirograph kit. An example of a Year 3 worksheet which can be used to determine your number sequence. These pictures were created by using the Year 3 worksheet and the sequences available, which turns out to look a bit like a spider web or the beginning of one. The following snapshots are just a few examples for you to have a look at.